sorry. Dogs. My sister just got home.
I blame your sister.
Me too.
You can tell her that. It's her fault.
Ankit's gonna put this in the episode, man.
No, Aunt, do not put this in the episode.
Aunt's gonna put this in the episode, Ankit. I swear.
Aunt, you do not put this in the episode. Please. Please. Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Flip the Scripts, an adaptations podcast all about the adaptations. I am your host, Ankit Madhira.
And I'm your host, Stephen Nieman. Yeah, we're back, baby!
Stephen coming in with the big energy today.
I'm so excited. I mean, okay, so this isn't our, back episode. Our back episode, we recorded, months ago, but we haven't recorded an episode in, months. And it just feels so good to be back, baby.
It is lovely to be back and having a call with you on it where we get to talk about books again and nerdy things. Yay, here we go.
This book is
been a hot minute.
This book is only, 192 pages?
Yeah, also because of just stuff. I read the book about a month ago.
You were ready. I was not.
And I tried to get it on hold again at the library.
Yeah.
But I didn't get it in time to reread it before we recorded.
Interesting. But you did a recap, at least on YouTube, right?
I did do more than one book recap on YouTube.
Nice. I mean, that should prepare you.
I just didn't get it back in time to actually be able to read it. And I had already read it a month ago.
I think the book took me 2 hours. I literally sat down. I was it was 8 o'clock on a good day. And I think I read. I was like, oh, wow. Now it's 10. And I'm done.
Fair enough.
My dad called me. He was like, hey, can you help with this thing really quick? I'm like, I have 4 pages left. He's like, no, I need your help. I was like, all right. Put the book down. Had 4 pages left. Went to go help him with the thing. Went back. Finished the 4 pages. Went back and helped him. And I came back in a minute after I went away, and he was like, didn't you have to read 4 pages? I went, I did.
Fair.
If anything,
we are reading children's books as adults.
Well, that, and I would say, doing this show has definitely impacted our reading ability. We read a lot faster than we used to and process information a lot faster. That's what reading does, people. Please read. Go out there and read a book. Enjoy
Go read. Look, I fell out of the love of reading after high school. I did not enjoy them scrutinizing every word on the page. I read for fun and my job, and I enjoy it so much more.
So I bought myself 2 giant bookcases in my room, and now it's connected to my dresser, and it looks immaculate. So I just have all my books there. I'm missing some books though. I came back from the UK and I'm missing books. I have no idea where they went. So I'm trying to find them. I'm missing number 2 of the Percy Jackson series, The Sea of Monsters.
I got that.
Yeah, but I'm missing the original copy. The one with the eye.
This one?
Yeah, that one. But I left you my UK versions, remember? When I bought the UK versions?
I have all 5 of those right here.
Yeah. And then I'm missing my American edition of Chamber of Secrets, which is an OG hardbound copy.
I have that somewhere packed away.
Yeah, I need to find because I have the OG Harry Potter, the OG from 1 through 7 American editions, and now I bought the British editions when I lived with you.
Yeah. Anyway, we should maybe get to
the episode.
This book.
Yeah.
What are we talking about?
Oh, well, this is The Miserable Mill, everyone, from Lemony Snicket's The Series of Unfortunate Events, which is a Netflix show. Ank and I had failed on our Patreon promise. We did not film our live reaction to the Jim Carrey version of the Lemony Snicket series. But we will do this.
In our defense, we technically, as of recording this, have not released
That's
the
true.
third one. Which, ladies and gentlemen, obviously, by the way that, order works, you will have heard those episodes before you listen to this one, most likely. If you haven't listened to it, welcome. But, go check those episodes out, too. They're fun.
Yeah. Also, so just so you know, the Jim Carrey version, our live reaction of it, which is what we did to the Avatar movie that M. Night Shyamalan directed, will go live on Patreon on Valentine's Day as a lovely love gift to all of you and to my friend Ankit.
I hate you.
I know. All right, so this is what we're doing today. The Middle Mill is the 4th book in the Lemony Snicket series. There are 13 books in total, and now we're going into book 4.
Yes, we are.
We're going to go into our favorite segment. Well, one of my favorite segments, Ankit's Fun Fact Time.
We have 2 segments on this show.
3.
We have 3?
4.
We have 4?
Yeah. So
as you can tell, ladies and gentlemen, I've only co-hosted this podcast for a year.
So there's Ankit Fun Fact Time. There's Stephen Fun Question Time. There's Stephen Explains the Plot of the Book Time, which doesn't have a title. It just is what it is.
It's just you explaining the plot of the book.
And then our arguments about adaptation for part 1 and part 2.
Okay, fine. If you want to count all of those as a segment,
that's technically 4 segments. If you think about
fine.
I mean, Ankit can actually weigh in on this, and if he wants to put a little chat box, and whether he agrees with me or not, he can totally disagree with me. But I think every section of our video, our episode, is a segment.
Technically, yes.
I mean, even the snack break counts as a segment.
All right, Stephen, moving on. We're talking about The Miserable Mill, right? So, the book. Let's talk about the book.
Let's get to fun fact time.
Yeah, The Miserable Mill, it is the 4th novel in the series, and there are 13 books in the series. It was originally published on April 15th, 2000.
Ooh.
Yes.
I would have been 5.
I would have been 2.5.
Yep.
Yeah.
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 Oh, wait, April 15th, 2000? I would have been 4.
Yeah, because your birthday hadn't happened yet.
Yeah. I wouldn't be 5 yet. I'd be 4.5, but I wouldn't be 5 yet.
Nope, I was 2.5.
Yeah. 4.5. So there you go.
Yeah. It is 194 pages, hence the 2-hour read mark.
Yes.
But yeah, lovely. And then heading over to the episode, we got IMDb out here. It is directed by Bo Welch. The writers for this episode, that changed. Okay, the writers on this episode, Daniel Handler is just credited with based on the book series, so maybe he didn't have as much of a hand in writing this episode.
I feel so vindicated right now by you just saying that.
I know. You called me earlier, but we'll get to that. Joe Trax was both the teleplay and the story editor for this episode.
Okay, Joe. I see you.
Joe did both things, and we will talk about the IMDb rating at the end, or do we want to do that now? It's been a while since we recorded. We do it now. I forget what we do. It's been a while. What do you think they rated this one, Stephen?
Well, I mean, I think most.
What do you
of the
think
ratings...
the critics rated this episode?
Yeah. Well, most of the ratings have been in the 7s. I think for every episode has either been in the 7s, some higher, lower than others. I think this episode is probably one of the weaker episodes of the series, so I'm gonna give this one a 6.9.
Oh yeah, dude, you were way off. The critics said an 8.
Really?
That's what it says. It says 8.0 out of 10. 1.9K reviews.
Wow. Okay. All right. Well,
we'll see why Stephen thinks it's a 6.9, I guess.
Maybe, yeah. Okay. So that is all of Ankit's Fun Fact Time. I mean,
yeah,
lovely segment.
It was a good time.
Okay, Ankit, it is time for Fun Question Time.
Bring it.
If you could get paid in coupons for any certain business, what would it be and why?
Which business would I want coupons for?
Yeah, like you're just getting paid for your work in coupons, but it always gives you coupons for this specific business.
Can I only get coupons for one business?
Yes.
Okay. So it can't be like a revolving door of I would like this type of coupon.
No. It has to be like a specific. Well, I'll let you change it. A type of coupon.
Great. I would love to get paid in coupons for free food. Like free meals at restaurants.
Now, if it was specific to like one restaurant based on just that answer.
I'd probably go with Chipotle because I can get a lot of different options, or like a Qdoba or something like that, because I can always get rice, I can always get vegetables, I can always get beans.
That makes sense.
And like I can still get all of that at like Chipotle, whereas you can't always get that everywhere else. So like one of those maybe, but like I would probably prefer if there's something like a Chipotle, but like more of like a mom and pop shop that like is just a healthier version of Chipotle. I would pick something like that.
Now, if you don't know why I'm asking this, it'll make sense when we talk about the book. For me, Ankit, because I know you're going to ask me the same question.
Well,
I haven't even thought about it, and this is how this always works, because I always have a weird question, and I'm like,
For some reason, you never think about the question, even though you never tell me the question beforehand.
No, I think of the question. I just think of the answer. I just like, that's a good question. I'll just, boom. Because I'm focused on the episode. Like, I'll like, in the middle of the episode, I'll pause it and be like, that's the great question. I'll write it and like be like, all right, move on.
Anyway, what about you?
Card games, so like any trading card game store, or like specifically basis cards and comics, with my local LGS. I just really love a coupon to there. Like I would go crazy. Like it'd be like 60% off a box of Yu-Gi-Oh. Not Yu-Gi-Oh cards. I don't play Yu-Gi-Oh. Dragon Ball Fusion World cards, or I play Union Arena sometimes as well. So like just something like random where it could be like, get a bunch of discounts and a bunch of cool stuff.
Yep, fair enough. This sounds fun.
I haven't played Yu-Gi-Oh in years. I don't even know why I went straight to Yu-Gi-Oh. Maybe my brain was just like, Yu-Gi-Oh.
I don't know. You've been playing Magic, right?
No. I don't play Magic. Magic's like way beyond me.
I don't know
what you do. It's expensive too. Magic is like ridiculously expensive.
So I've heard.
To get into.
Yeah.
My friend. Yeah. Not to like make the Magic fans angry. My friend Jesse, he's a really big Magic player, and like I respect him.
Dylan's a big Magic player.
Yeah.
So,
but actually, Jesse doesn't even really play. Well, he plays Lorcana more now, which is like the new Disney card game.
Anyway, like
books. Huge books. Yeah. Sorry. This is why they watch us, though.
I hope
they watch us on.
I hope.
Our ranting. We're funny.
Yeah, but every now and again, we got to get back to the book. We haven't started the book. We haven't started the TV
show. Now it's my turn to explain what the book's about. So, Violet, Klaus, and Sunny are at a train at the start of the book and are traveling to their new home, which is called the Miserable Mill, and they're being adopted by a man who Mr. Poe's name they can't pronounce. He happens to be called, we're going to call him Sir, because that's what they call him in the book and the TV show. And no one can see his face. And they basically are forced to work in the mill. And he says, I'll protect you from Count Olaf, you work in the mill. Count Olaf obviously shows up. Stuff happens, and they are forced to leave the mill at the end of the book. I'm not going to spoil all the book.
Great plot summary. Fantastic. Stuff happens.
Well, let's just say there is a plot of hypnotizing and murder.
There we go. Give them a little bit.
Yeah. Well, not murder. I would say manslaughter is more like the category.
Look, ladies and gentlemen, if you have either watched or read the last 3 books / TV episode, 6 episodes.
Yeah.
You know that there is death in this series.
Yep.
From the beginning.
So let's go. Let's go to the adaptation summary. Okay, so the TV show starts with the Baudelaires are completely gone, as they randomly left in a truck in the last episode, which is one of the worst. I hate it. And Poe is upset. Obviously, this does not happen in the book. In the book, from Josephine's untimely death, the orphans and Poe go on a train to the Miserable Mill, where they're going to be adopted. So there's a reason for them to go there instead of this random photo that they find and all this other stuff.
Yeah, I agree. It didn't make a whole lot of sense of why we're in a truck, but okay.
I think it's like, it's a domino effect, because they've changed some stuff in episode 2 and 3, and now it's dominoing into this episode especially. And it's like I said, it's like I always tell my friends when we talked about Harry Potter. I mean, one day we'll do it. Is a lot of the issues of Harry Potter come down to like she was not done with the books by the time they got to like certain movies. So like they had to like change a bunch, domino affecting each other. Another term is sins of the father, if you want.
Yeah.
So then he gets like he finds some chowder and he starts eating it, alligator chowder, and I think that was funny. But also I'm like, okay, Mr. Poe. Like I love him and then I don't like him.
So useless.
I love him and I don't like him at the same time. In the book, he's just as useless, but like they just make him even more useless in the TV show, and I enjoy it just a little.
Yeah, it's funny, and I don't feel like the trope is overplayed.
No, but then the driver of the Lucky Mill,
the cab. Oh, the truck. Yeah, the truck.
We're back. We're now in the truck, and they're in the truck. The Boiler Orphans, the back of the truck, and the driver like notices that they're there, and he's like, "Get that guy out of my truck." And I'm like, the most logical thing that's been said in this entire show.
It's just, why are you in my truck? Get out.
Yeah. He's like, we don't take kindly to people who just wander. Then they get jumped off in the forest, which obviously doesn't happen. But the thing that they cut was there's a train that shows up in the town where the mill is. I'm forgetting the name of the town. I wrote it somewhere.
Poultryville.
Poultryville. Thank you. That lands at Poultryville once a day and goes away once a day. So rides, drops people off, and leaves. I think that's such an interesting introduction of a town, and it kind of loses that what the town's about. If you get my drift.
Yeah.
And then they show up in the town after getting through the whole forest. There's this whole bit about getting through the forest, and it's like, yeah, there was kind of that in the book, but also it just feels like we're adding monologues from Lemony Snicket now because we need to fix the plot so we can get them to the plot.
Fair. I didn't really mind it that much though, because I think it worked in terms of the TV show. And I was like, you know what? Cutting out the train, I wasn't feeling like I missed a whole lot when like the monologue from Lemony Snicket sets up the town.
And I would also say that there's the really funny what I love about the book, other than the fact that yes, I agree with you that it does work them just walking through the town. What I love about the book though is the first line of the book is repeated like 8 times throughout the whole book.
I think so. Yeah, something like that.
And there's something about that first line that I'm like, ooh, I'm missing that. So there's something about that line specifically that just adds
What's the line for anyone that doesn't remember?
I read it 2 days ago.
I thought you had the book with you.
It's downstairs. It's about something about going through a forest and he's saying the first line of any novel will tell you how the story will go, is what he says. And he kind of explains all these instances of different stories. And then he gets into the first line of this story, which is like Klaus, Violet, and Sunny going through a terrible forest on the way to a terrible town. Something like that. So they show up in the town. And the town is burned down, which that's new. That's not in the book.
Yeah, that was different.
So they show up in the town, and there's only one thing there, the Lucky Mill. And I instantly went, no, wait, there's supposed to be like a building, like a bunch of other buildings too. Like they're not happy town. It's like not a touristy town.
It's a sad town.
It's a sad town, but it's not a burned down town. And there's also supposed to be like a building with an eye in it. And I was like, well, it's outside the mill. Where's the building with the eye? Of course, I proved it wrong later because it moved inside the mill. But like, I was still heated because I'm like, how do you miss the 2 buildings that are described perfectly? I also want to, yeah. So the mill's there.
I think that literally came down to set space.
No, I don't mind that, but also I was very heated when I first saw the town.
That's fair. I was like, where's the other building? And then I waited 10 seconds, And then I saw the other building.
Yeah. I just wanted to see what my thoughts were when it happened. I'll give you a play-by-play.
It's okay. See, you give the play-by-play on this one. I give the play-by-play on post-finale.
Yeah, that's fair. So they're talking, they're chatting about all these weird things that have happened, and then Sonny goes, Count Olaf was indeed strange. And I just lose it, because I love every time Sonny gets a one-liner.
Sonny's incredible.
The baby is great. The baby is fantastic.
The CGI baby. Incredible.
Yeah, and she doesn't look CGI sometimes, and like actually,
I don't think she's CGI all the time.
No, but you can tell. I love it when you. It's just part of the outfit of the show that you can tell when she's CGI. It's great.
Usually, when someone is holding her, she's not CGI. Yeah. Usually.
So the optometrist office. So they walk over to the miserable mill, and the first thing I was like, well, no gum sign. So in the book, there's like the lucky mill is held up with like gum. The whole sign is held like gum, and I just think like that's part of the aesthetic of the
mill.
Yeah, and I was like, well they got rid of that. That's sad. I think it was really fun for them to do it because it just could have been something interesting.
Cool, yeah, not gonna lie, I forgot about that little fact.
Yeah, so then there's a sign that says no trespassers. Trespassers would be put into work, and I was like, that's also new.
It's effective.
Well, I understand why the sign is there, because now Violet, Klaus, and Sunny aren't invited to the mill to work under their new guardian. They're just showing up to work. And I'm like, well, how are they going to get them to work? Like, they're just showing up. There's no way they're going to. And I was like, okay, TV show. So they trespass into the mill, and they're like, they're trespassing. We're children. We can't trespass. And Klaus
like, my favorite thing is Klaus going, those aren't mutually exclusive.
Yeah, but then it's repeated again when they meet Charles, by the way, who's the partner of the Lucky Mill. Who's like
incredible. I love
great. Charles does a great job. Who also says the same thing. You're children, you can't trespass. And he's like, those aren't mutually exclusive.
And I love Violet being like, Klaus, shut up.
Yeah. So they meet Charles in the mill, which I'm like, this early? All right, cool. I get it. You want to introduce Charles early, and maybe you want to introduce Sir early. So they meet Sir. And this is where, like, I have an actual issue. Like,
okay.
Sir in the book, you never see his face. He's always covered in a puff of cigar smoke. And it is an incredible use of writing that just keeps Sir, like, invisible to us, to not let us as readers kind of get into the mind of him or to understand him or try to, like, it kind of makes Sir this ethereal businessman where he represents almost all businessmen, right? I don't like the fact they gave him a face.
I agree.
Because he became too clowny to me now.
My issue with it was that it didn't become clowny for me. But it made it feel like you know things and you're keeping secrets. And it almost made me feel like, when he was just a cloud of smoke, I couldn't attach an emotion to you.
Yeah.
I couldn't feel bad about you. I couldn't be like, you are a bad person for keeping this from these poor kids. Like, you are a bad person for not realizing some of the things. And like, I could attach it to Mr. Sir in the TV show. Whereas in the book, it felt more as, it was just, it's just a conglomerate. It is big corporations.
People might argue that it's really hard to have smoke all over somebody's face without getting smoke all over the room. And I say, sure, but there's a really clever way to shoot it where you don't even need to show his face. You can shoot him all from behind and just have smoke around him, behind him.
Every scene?
You get the same effect. Just never show his face on screen.
Yeah, you can either shoot it that way or you can have smoke.
Yeah.
And then you can enhance it with CGI.
There's multiple ways to do it, and they decided to
It depends on your budget level.
I wonder if the guy who played it was like, no, I want my face to be seen.
I don't know. Maybe. I don't know. Let's see who played it, because I do not know who Mr. Sir is. Mr. Sir is a lovely, not that one. I will look it up. Give me a second.
Okay. So while Ankit is looking that up, I'll continue. So one of the things that's weird is like they're asking Charles and Sir about the parents, and the fact Sir's like, yeah, I know your parents. The Baudelaires, they burned down this town. And I'm saying like, what? That's not in the book. That's not even connected to the book. That's like a left ball out of nowhere.
Yep. Also, I found this guy's name. It's Don Johnson, who is known for Miami Vice as Detective James Crockett, as in Django Unchained as Big Daddy, in A Boy and His Dog as Vic, and Knives Out as Richard Drysdale.
Nice. So
I have seen none of those.
Oh, you haven't seen Django Unchained?
Buddy, no.
Kid, no. Okay, post finale. Let's go. Add that to the list.
It's a long list.
So now Sir is decided to say they're trespassers. He doesn't care they're children. They're going to work in the mine. They're going to work in the mill. Not the mine, the mill. And this is where I'm like, you've had to now make this whole overarching thing work that's not in the book just to make it make sense. You had to jump over 3 hurdles to get them to where they are in the book. Just do what's in the book.
I feel like,
Like in the book, it made so much sense. They got to the mill. They read the letter. Oh, we have to work too. Uh-oh. Boom. Done. 5 minutes. What, could they not were they afraid they couldn't fill a 40 minute runtime with their added scenes of Olaf?
Hey, I didn't mind all of those added scenes with Olaf.
I
think some of them were very helpful, actually.
I don't mind them, but I'm saying, did they really feel like they couldn't have added the runtime with something else? They had to really mess with the main plot of the trio?
I mean, I think it works, but the big thing is Mr. Sir, not Mr. Sir, just Sir, I'm sorry. Mr. Sir is in holes.
That's true.
Yeah. That's Mr. Sir.
Mr. Sir.
Mr. Sir. Which, listeners, keep an ear out. Anyway, so now what we are doing, though, in this situation is that you are creating these hurdles that do get solved, right? And some of them get solved and we get there. But part of it felt clunky. And I think it was just streamlined well in the book. But I didn't mind it. I didn't mind the changes.
I do. I think one of my maybe it's me. I think adaptation should not cause problems for you to fix. I think okay.
But I also understand. No, but here's the thing: is from running a TV show perspective. If every 2 episodes you're starting the episode the exact same way, people might get tired. And you've started episode 1, episode 3, and episode 5 in the exact same way. Of the kids with Poe. Yeah. And so I can get why they make this change. I don't get why they burnt down the town. That bit I don't get. And I still don't get of why they've done that, right? I agree on that one, right? Like, I don't get why the town is burnt down.
Well, because they need to give them a reason to be there, Ankit.
No, the photo is reason enough.
No, but like that they added that to, like, we're going to talk more about that, why the town burning down became their reason, where the other one, where Sir is their guardian, is reason enough in the book, and it's simple and streamlined, and they've complicated it.
Okay, but again, here's the thing, is you've seen everything. I haven't, right? I haven't seen the whole TV show, and I haven't read the book series. So I legitimately don't know what's coming up. So I don't know if whatever happens in Poultryville in the book comes up later. And I don't know that. So that's why I think maybe I might be a little less hurt by the change because maybe something like this happens.
I don't remember what happens in season 2 and 3 because it's been like years. I also have never read past book 3. So this is the first time I read book 4 as well. So I'm on the same boat with you.
Yeah, but you've seen the series even though it was years ago.
Okay, so then we cut to Olaf in a truck with the same driver.
Yes.
And he's like, have you seen the orphans? He's like, yeah. One of them bit my spare tire, and I lost it.
Well done, Sonny. Well done.
I can just imagine 2 Sonny-sized bite holes in a spare tire, and I'm like, that poor guy. I also just thought about what if he like actually needed the spare.
That would not be good.
I also thought this is a weird way to get Olaf in town. So in the book, what I like about the book, this is the first time Olaf's ahead of the children. He actually ends up in the town before them.
Yeah.
And I think that's actually really fascinating.
It's almost like he knew where they were going.
Yeah, I think that's really important to understand. Maybe for book future, I don't know, because I haven't read any future books. But I think like Olaf kind of having this inkling of where they're going next and all this stuff is important. Then we cut back to the lovely orphans in the dorm rooms, which I'm like, the dorm room design perfectly. This is like right from the book. They ripped it perfect. And then we meet the other people, and I was like, wow, they're also greatly cast.
No, incredible.
And then Phil is great. I love Phil.
My special boy.
He is. This guy playing Phil does such a good job. I give him thousands of credits.
I would like to give a shout out to Chris Gautier. I think that's how we pronounce his name.
Mm-hmm.
So, sadly, I think he passed away.
Oh.
Yes, he passed away in February of 2024.
Rest in peace, Chris.
Rest in peace.
Rest in peace.
He was great.
Yeah. Then I also wrote, there was no Sir agreement. So one of the agreements of Sir was the fact that, like, he said, I'll keep Olaf away from you if you work in the mill and live here till you're old enough to have your fortune.
Yeah.
Which I was like, that was funny. And I liked it.
And I think the agreement was needed.
You think the agreement was needed?
I think it messed with a lot.
Yeah, I agree. And again, they have to give a reason for them to be there in a different way, which adds to the burning of the town, which no one wants to talk about because they're also the people they work with are like, we can't talk about it. We're not supposed to talk about the burning of the town. So I also thought that was weird. Then we get back to more Lemony Snicket talking about how Olaf's going to go visit his ex, and I was like, wait, Orwell's his ex? That's new. I guess they have a relationship. I didn't get that from the book, but I'll take it. If that's their relationship, I mean, sure.
Hey, I didn't get that from the book. Don't hate it. I'm actually kind of here for it. I'm like, ooh, different dynamic.
Then Olaf worms his way back in Georgina's life. He's like, hi, baby. I'm here to work with you. We're here to get these orphans. And she's like, yeah.
Let's get these orphans.
At first she's like, no. But then she's like, well, actually, money.
Well, actually.
She hates the Baudelaires, so that's interesting.
She does. She does.
In the bunk, which they're supposed to share a bunk bed, the Baudelaire orphans, which they're not. Well, minor pickings. I'm going to minor pick really quick because I'm allowed to. In the bunk, they have Violet and Sunny sharing a bed, and Klaus by himself, or was the other way around in the book. Also, they're supposed to have a bunk bed where one's on the bottom, one's on top. They're now in 2 separate bunks next to each other. I like the bunk bed thing because it's the first time. I mean, yes, they'll still only have 2 beds for the 3 of them, but I liked it. I liked it in the book. I mean, it's a very minor picky thing, but I am very minor picky sometimes.
You are minor picky a lot of the times.
I'm allowed to be, sir. This is an adaptation podcast. It's not. If it's not 100% accurate, it's only 50% accurate.
No, that's Pokemon moves.
I know. So then they're talking. Violet and Klaus are talking, and Sunny's asleep because Sunny's like a baby and Sunny was going to sleep. Yeah. And
Yeah,
like,
good job, Sunny.
I want to leave because, we don't need to be here. We're in the town. There's no reason for us to be here. Like, I don't want to work here. And then Violet's like, no, but we have to stay here to prove that our parents are innocent of burning the town. And I'm like, this is the most stupidest reason that you've replaced with the reason of the book. Because you've had to, because you made the stupid decision to have them run away in the last episode.
Look. Coming from a book perspective, I agree, it's dumb. It's very dumb.
Even if I read that, I would say it's dumb, Monk.
I think from the TV show perspective, I got a question for Violet. Your parents are dead. Maybe you should focus on saving your brother?
Maybe. I mean, also the fact that they think their parents are still alive is also like, okay. That's a huge thing.
Yeah, why do they think their parents are still alive?
It's not a thing in the book.
I don't know.
Which is also like, okay, so we're going to talk more about that when we get to the end of this episode within that realm, because that'll come up. All right.
Yeah.
But on that note, this is where we're going to take our snack break.
Whee! Hello, everyone. I hope you are enjoying this episode of Flip the Scripts. Just a couple of quick things about the podcast and some quick life updates, and then we will get back into the show. First off, I want to just say thank you to everyone who has been patient. We know the end of 2024 and the start of 2025, we took a big break. We had a lot of things happening. Sebastian had to take a step away. Nothing against him. He's a wonderful, wonderful human being that we would love to have back. School got very busy for Sebastian, and so he wanted to focus on that. So we wish him the best of luck on all of his endeavors, and hopefully we get to invite him back to work with him in the future. But until then, Sebastian, best of luck with school, and we hope everything goes well in your future endeavors. Now, thank you all so much for just being supportive and listening to the show. It really does mean a lot. If you want to gain access to bonus content, we are going to be doing a better job of uploading onto Patreon, and you can get access to bonus content such as the notes that Steven takes, or sometimes the notes that I take if I'm taking notes for this show, or my notes for post finale, different things like that. You can get access to bonus content, bonus videos of Steven making me sit down and watch movies that I don't necessarily want to, like the live action Avatar. Things like that are up on our Patreon. If you want more content from us, it is available over there. Head over to patreon.com/coopforge. So that's patreon.com/CO_OPFORGE and sign up for whichever one of the tiers, and you get a special shout out on the shows as well. If you want to support the show in a non-monetary way, that is great. Thank you, first of all, just for listening to this episode. It really does help us out. Be sure, leave a like, hit follow, subscribe wherever you're listening to the shows. Leave a comment. You can now also leave comments on Spotify if you're listening on Spotify. So be sure, check that out, and it really does mean a lot to us and helps us out. Talk about us on social media at CoopForge, CO_OP. Yeah. Talk about us on social media, CO_OPFORGE on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. And you can also follow this show specifically at Flip the Scripts Pod on Instagram, or just head over to the Co-op Forge Instagram and you'll be able to find it pretty easily because I tag any of the Flip the Scripts posts from that Co-op Forge Instagram gets a tag for Flip the Scripts. So that's another way that you can find that. So be sure to do that. And last but not least, just tell a friend about the show. It really does help us out more than you know. Word of mouth is the best way to grow the show. Maybe there's someone out there that loves reading or loves movies or just likes analysis and wants to hear two friends talk about some books that they grew up loving. Go check it out. It really does help us out a lot. So be sure, tell a friend, tell a family member about the show. It means the world to us. And thank you so much. Last couple of housekeeping things, and then we will get back to the episode. Just real quick, I have some gigs coming up. So first off, I have a new song that is coming out in exactly 1 week from today. If you are listening to this on the day that it comes out, I have a new song called Sweet New Memories coming out on February 14th, and that is going to be available on all streaming platforms on February 14th. So be sure go check that out. We'll leave a link in the description for you to pre-save for listening on any of the various apps that we listen to music on. And secondly, real quick, is I actually got an acting gig coming up. So in March in Seattle, if you are in the Seattle area, March 21st through April 5th, I am going to be playing Oliver in a production of Oliver with Reboot Theater. We will be performing at Theater Off Jackson here in Seattle, and we are going to have shows. We open on March 21st and we close on April 5th. So a nice 3 weekends of shows. Be sure come check it out. If you do come check it out, shoot me a message on social media or send me an email if you're coming to the show. Just let me know that you're coming. I would love to meet up with you all afterwards. But that is everything from us over here. We hope you were enjoying this episode, so let's get back into it.
And we're back with episode 1 of The Miserable Mill. All right, so after, we have that lovely conversation where Violet makes up a BS reason to want to stay at the Mill, we cut to the parents who want to tell their kids everything. They're like, we're going to tell them everything. And they're stuck in a tree. And I think this is hilarious because they're stuck in the tree in the forest, literally behind the mill.
I laughed at this, but who are all of those people searching?
I don't know. I feel like they're either evil people, and maybe there's a bunch more evil people under Olaf's control, or they're good people on their side.
Because they also said something along the lines of like, we want to tell them everything, but we're trapped or something, right? Or like there's a fire everywhere in every direction. There was some like cool kind of line that they say. I don't remember what it was.
Yeah.
But like what?
So then we cut to the morning and the morning speech blares and the foreman's like, get up and get ready to work. Great. The foreman is great. My only issue is they didn't introduce him before. So in the book, like we said, Olaf gets there ahead of time. The foreman is connected to Olaf, spoiler alert. So the foreman started before the orphans got there. Now all of a sudden the foreman starts today. And we never get the foreman's name like we do in the book.
Yeah.
I think the foreman is Foreman. It starts with F. Fortis something.
Foreman in the book?
Yeah, the foreman's name in the book. It starts with an F. Which makes a lot of sense because Olaf probably created the name, so 2 Fs. It's a double F name. So, I also really love the foreman outfit. In the book, it's just a surgical mask over and like a fake wig. In this one, he's wearing like goggles, a hood, a gas mask, and I'm like, geez, it's gross.
Oh yeah, Foreman Flacutono is eccentric.
Yeah, Flacutono. How do you say it?
Flacutono.
I feel like we're saying a curse word when we say it.
Dude, it's Flacutono.
It's
Flacutono.
It still sounds like a curse word.
But it's just Flacutono.
Yeah, Flacutono.
No, not Fuckle. Not like Shuckle. It is not the Pokemon. Stop bringing Pokemon into this thing. It is, hold on, I put it away. Flacutono. Which Flacutono
probably means like false tone in Italian.
All right, I will look up what Flacutono means
because that is funny. And now we go into log day, and everyone's like, I hate log day. And other than, our good boy Phil, who's like, yeah, log day.
Phil is pumped for log day.
Now,
meanwhile, Foreman Flacutono, who is evil, apparently when you type in Flacutono meaning, the first thing to pop up is this. It's all just series of unfortunate events stuff.
Oh. So, in the book, there's a bit of a difference. In the book, the whole factory works on debarking. It's a huge thing. And they learn how to debark something. In the TV show, they're all working separately, doing a bunch of other stuff, and things are happening randomly. There's not like specific days where they do specific things. It just is like everyone's doing their activity. I really love the debarking tools though. It was great, Violet and Klaus, debarking the tree, and then Sunny just biting through the whole bark was
incredible.
Fantastic.
It's incredible. Sunny, probably the most efficient worker.
Yeah. Then we start lunchtime. Lunchtime seems to happen like that in the TV show, which I'm like, they've only been working for 10 minutes. But fine.
It's a TV show. What do you want them to do? Spend 7 hours in the morning showing you that they're debarking?
Nah, just the lovely SpongeBob size that says 2 hours later.
You don't need that.
I know, I'm kidding. But then they learn that the workers are all being paid in coupons, and Klaus is like, I think that's illegal, and Phil's like, we don't have a constitution, and I was like, well, actually, you do. It's just in the library.
Mm-hmm.
And then
none of you were allowed there.
And then we learned that it's a cult. That they're all basically in a cult. They're like, we'll never leave the factory.
No.
So they go to the library because they're like, oh, maybe we'll find something about how our parents are innocent. And in the library, there are many books.
Well, one book.
One book on
many copies.
In the weird thing for me is in the book, and I really loved what he did in the book, there were only 3 books, and they all were important.
Yeah.
So in the book, there was a constitution of the town, the optometrist history or something like that.
Something like that.
Or from Georgina Orwell, she wrote a book. And then the Lucky Mill history, which is 1 copy.
Not 80 copies of the Lucky Mill history and a dictionary.
Yeah, so I have a huge issue with this because now they're changing plot points. So Violet and Klaus then argue over leaving again because this is the only thing they can do. Because it just all right, let's have them arguing. Then he goes over to the foreman to get a new debarker, and he tries to see if he's Olaf, and the foreman kicks him and then steps on his glasses. And I was like, whoa, buddy, whoa.
It was a trip in the book.
It was a trip. 2 times in the book, but it was a trip. 3 times actually in the book, but it was a trip.
They took a turn.
I don't understand that one. So he gets kicked, and all this stuff happens, and it's really weird. And he's like, oh, you need to get new glasses. So I was like, Klaus is going to be sent to Orwell, which does happen in the book. Klaus is sent to the optometrist in the book. This is all book accurate other than him kicking him.
No. Also, can I just say, from the first shot that we had of the foreman, I knew instantly it was Hook Hand.
Which is your favorite of Olaf's henchmen?
Oh, he is my favorite.
But you just knew. I knew too. You could tell. You could tell by the posture.
You could tell instantly. You were just like, he's banging pots together. That's Hook Man.
I wish there wasn't. I really wish it was like Bald Man or like weird androgynous lady or.
Well, it was Bald Man. I think it was androgynous lady in book 2. So episodes 3 and 4.
No. So it's androgynous lady in book 3. And Hook
anyway,
and it's supposed to be Bald Man in this episode. But Hook Hand's the most popular of his henchmen, so I understand why.
That's fair.
He is the best. We've agreed him and Sunny's relationship is one of the best in the first 2 episodes.
I'm upset that they don't get to interact much.
No. There's a whole moment. Oh, we'll get there. We'll talk about that when we get there. But
we'll talk about it.
So we cut to Olaf, who's talking to Orwell more. And he's like, let's run away together and let's go and take over a small country. And I'm like, what about your whole Baudelaire orphan thing?
No, I think this is what he wanted to do with the Baudelaire fortune.
Oh, let's take over another small country. Okay.
I think so. That was my understanding of it.
What country would you go after?
I am not putting that target on my back.
Yeah, me either.
I am not a dum-dum. I would like those people to listen.
Yeah.
Yeah. Also, I am not the person that should be running a country.
I agree. Me either. So, I mean, there you go.
No. I don't need that in my life.
Klaus goes over to the book and he's like, well, the eyes and all this crazy stuff. And he's like, yeah, last time and he talks about, the only reason I'm mentioning this is because he talks about The Great Gatsby, which you can watch on this channel. Ankit and I did a one-shot review of
a couple weeks? I don't know. A couple episodes ago. It's
months ago.
Been a little bit. I don't know.
It was
in
like
terms of releasing, months ago. In terms
October?
of, I think in terms of releasing. Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That sounds right.
Great. I love Gatsby. The parents meet, and then
I would like to point out, though. That we know now, because it's never clear when this is all taking place, or where this is all taking place. And I would just like to point out, we now know that it is after 1920s America. Most likely, it is after 1940s, because the 1940s is when The Great Gatsby became popular again, because it was sent as one of the books to soldiers.
You know what? If this was set in the 1950s, that would probably make the most sense.
So I think it just gives us a little bit of a hint of when this might be set. Not necessarily where, but when.
Yeah, that's good. Good job, sir. So then Lemony Snicket talks about how, fighting people, and he talks about how he had to fight a fridge guy once, and the parents meet the fridge guy from the story and fight him.
They kick him out in like 2 seconds. That wasn't a fight.
I know. It wasn't it was slaughter.
It was. Hello, sir. Would you like to give us a ride? No. All right, we'll take your truck.
They GTA'd him. Although he tried to hit them with the rents, so I guess. So. Yeah. Then she goes into Then we cut to Violet, who's like, Klaus is getting new glasses, so I'm going to focus on the other plot, which is trying to prove my parents' innocence. And she goes into the library and sneaks in to read all of the histories to find if there's a history thing where it proves her parents' innocence. And there is a chapter all about the fire.
And it's all blacked out.
It's all been blacked out. So she finds the one book that hasn't been blacked out. And then Sir comes in, finds it, rips out the paper, and throws it into the fire.
Yeah, after a conversation with Charles, he chucks it into the fire. And then Charles saves the piece of paper, which is very important. And this conversation, I feel like, is very important. Because it's Charles telling Sir that he's too hard on the kids, and they need to be told the truth. And, don't you feel bad for them? Like, we have to do better for these kids.
Yeah. There's even a dictionary in the library with their dad's writing on it, which I'm like, okay. I mean, I'm at this point, just tell your own story. Either tell the book story or tell your own story.
Yeah, fair.
They are blaming them. So they basically said that they have to blame the parents on the fire to keep the mill open. That was one of the things they talked about.
That was an agreement that they came to.
Which I'm like, okay, what? Okay, so you had to make this whole plot point. You had to dot your I's and dot your T's, and then make it all connect to the parents somehow. It just...
Again, in terms of it being a TV show, it works. In terms of it being an adaptation of the fourth book, you've made a lot of problems.
Yeah. So... And then I also had a question. So Phil's with Klaus at the optometrist office, and I went, why? Phil doesn't drop it off. Charles does. But I guess you can't use Charles because you needed him for the other scene to have him have that argument with Sir. So you had to use Phil, which I love Phil. It's great. He's great. But why is he there?
I wasn't too upset about that because I did like the scene with Charles and Sir.
It's true.
And so I wasn't upset by the fact that Phil took him.
Yeah. So seeing the optometry appointment...
Can I also point out before we move on from this, Sir, incredibly bad at throwing a piece of paper into a fire.
Yes. He just happens to work at a lumber mill with probably wood that is for fires.
Right. And we see him toss a log into it earlier in the scene. And he does well. But the paper doesn't burn at all.
So now we get to see the optometry appointment. Now, this does happen we don't see it at all in the book. Klaus goes away, Violet and Sunny are worried, and Klaus shows back up.
Yeah.
It's kind of cool to see the full optometry appointment.
Dude, I wish that they gave us a warning. I did not expect the images to flash that quick.
Yes. I feel like for people who suffer from epilepsy, it's not a good episode for people.
Ooh, and I'm thankful and lucky that I don't, but like I was like, ooh, like I gotta look away for a second because like that got real fast.
Yeah, so Orwell telling Klaus she met his parents and then hypnotizes him. And I was like, oh, wow. So Orwell now admitted her connection to mom and dad, which I'm like, that's new. I don't think that's said in the book at all. I mean, obviously, she probably does have connections to them.
It's just not explicitly said.
Yeah, it's just now that it's said, it's like, okay. I mean, it might have been revealed in a later book, which when that stuff gets revealed, I might feel like the reveal in the book might be better.
But here's the thing, is also when some of this stuff might get revealed in the books.
Might be like 2005.
We might look back at this and understand why they've made some changes.
True. We'll see.
Right? Because unlike Harry Potter, both with this new Percy Jackson series that's coming out and this series, the series is done. And so with being able to go back and like do it as an adaptation, they're able to bring in certain elements earlier to hook an audience earlier. And so, you know, maybe it's something because, you know, our gauge isn't necessarily there. We haven't done a TV series. We did Avatar: The Last Airbender, but that was just riddled with problems. This I don't feel like is riddled with problems. I feel like it's still fairly on the same track, and maybe once these things get revealed in the book series, we might look back at it and be like, you know what? I see why they did it this way, because it's more captivating for a TV audience. And we might not enjoy it as the adaptation, but we can appreciate a little more. I don't know. Or maybe we'll look back at it and be like, that was dumb.
Yeah, we'll see. That's why I'm leaving it open.
Yeah.
I'm not complaining. So then we see Olaf as a woman, and I'm like, yay, ooh, yay, Olaf. Woo-hoo. We come back to Violet and Sunny, and I thought the painted windows are great. The painted windows in the dorm room are great. And then Klaus comes back without glasses.
Yeah, that one didn't make sense to me. Why didn't he have his glasses?
Why? Why would you send him to an optometry office to get new glasses and he comes back without them? It's almost like Klaus can't see without them.
Yeah. That one did not make sense. I was like, so you've hypnotized him, but you've still left him blind.
Yeah. And Violet is upset Klaus is acting strange. That's true in the book. And she's like, you're going to sleep with your shoes on. And I think she takes them off, which, yeah, sister.
She does.
We're gonna come back to that because I think at some point, yeah, we'll come back to that. And then they wake up for the next day. He is ordered to take Sunny to work, and I was like, what? What was going on? Why did they keep changing things?
Sure, Sunny's at work now. I mean, Sunny was always coming to work, but like, it was never ordered.
So Klaus gets sent to work on the mulch machine. I said, what happened to I'm working on the big stamping machine that crushes Phil's leg? Instead, he's working on the mulch machine. And I was like, well, I'm a little impatient, but also the mulch machine doesn't exist in the freaking storytelling.
Okay, so you're impatient.
So he's in the mulch machine and he's like throwing pieces of wood in there, and he has Sunny in his arm while he's doing it. And Sunny's freaking out, and I'm like, wait a minute, Hookman, you ordered him to do it, and you're Sunny's best friend. How could you?
Yeah.
This is where my argument comes in.
I was not happy with the Hook in this moment. I was like, Hookman, you should have known better. You should have said bring her. But don't scare her, dude.
So
you're better than that. You are a better henchman than that. Be better.
So then we cut back to the parents, and they're in the fridge van, and they're driving back to the kids.
To the mill.
And Violet says the word, and then we come back to Violet, and Violet says the magical word that undoes the hypnotization for Klaus.
Inordinate.
And I'm like, already? Well, okay. And I was like, before Phil gets damaged? What's going on? Because obviously, like, things happen. But also, I was just like, what? Then the Baudelaires get invited outside to go to this fancy door to meet the parents. And I was like,
no.
And then also the parents are at this other side of the fancy door. And I'm like, that fancy door didn't exist. And I was like, and then, what? And then they open the door. Because this isn't in the book at all, by the way, people.
Yeah.
And the parents walk into a house, not the mill, and they're like, "Kids, we're home." And they have 2 other kids, and they're not the parents.
No, they have 3 other kids.
Yes, 3 other kids, and they're not the parents of the Baudelaires.
Yeah, who have we been following this entire time?
And this is where I'm just like, what was the point? It's going to connect to the 5th book. I know that because, like, obviously, next episode. But, like, I didn't see a point of it. I really didn't. Like, it's to cause intrigue, and now you've killed the intrigue before your season finale's over.
Yeah, I was so confused.
And I
was like, okay, so you were not the parents of the Baudelaires. Fine.
Mm-hmm.
Maybe the Baudelaires' parents actually did die?
Yeah.
I don't know. I thought that they were alive this entire time.
But it felt like it was like, oh yeah, they're alive. Oh, guess what? They're not. And then it's like, cool. Nice. What was the point?
So who are these 3 kids?
They're introduced in the 5th book.
That explains why we know nothing. Okay.
Well, like, if you remember at the end of the episode, there was the kids that were like at the end of the next episode. They're the kids at the end.
Yeah. No, I understood that they were all there, so I figured. But like, I just wanted to make sure we haven't been told anything about them.
Yeah, but it was just weird. It was just like weird. I just. Ugh.
I didn't like it. I was also
never
very
liked the parent plot, and now my feeling I feel like is correct.
I liked it. I'm intrigued by it. I'm also mad at it.
So maybe my feelings will be corrected more in the 5th episode, and maybe Ankit could go na boo boo when we get to that episode, because he liked it, but we'll see. So the person at the visitor door at the other side is Olaf and Orwell. And they give him the new glasses and rehypnotize him in front of his sisters.
Yeah, that one's funny.
But also, no. But also, can I just point out, Olaf and Orwell's office is inside the mill.
Mm-hmm.
Why did they have to go through the visitor door? Because you wanted to make suspense and try to show that the visitor door exists to try to be like, oh, the parents are the parents? This is all for the bullshit they were trying to pull.
You know, I didn't realize that until now. Yeah.
What was the point?
Suspense!
And then we learned that...
That's all I got for you.
We also learned that Poe was the person who called earlier to be like, is the Baudelaires at the mill? And Sir was like, no. And that was the end of the episode. And I was like, wow.
I do like how Sir at least goes, who is this? And Poe doesn't even say anything.
Yeah. So that was the end of the part 1 of the first episode. Ankit, what would you rate this episode on a scale as just an episode, not as an adaptation, on a scale of 1 to 10?
Like a 7.8. I enjoyed it. It was a fun episode.
It's good, like a 7. There were things about it that frustrated me, but I'll give it a 7. I really like Phil. I think that's really good casting. And Orwell, Orwell's a really good cast as well. I think the casting is always really spot
I think
on.
everyone has been cast well.
Yeah, I don't think anybody's like too out there. Now, what would you rate it as an adaptation of half the book?
Of the first half of the book, probably like it's not good. Maybe like a 5.5.
I was gonna say 4.5.
Okay.
Yeah. Just a 4.5.
Yeah.
I just feel like there was so much they could have done, and they kind of shot themselves in the foot a lot.
I think I'm giving it a point for casting.
You know what? Fair.
I think that's why I have the 5.5, is I just really like the casting for these episodes.
I'll give you a lot of credit. The guy playing Phil just is...
I think every adult actor that they have in this episode nails their part.
Yeah.
Even Sir. My gripe with Sir is not how he played Sir by any means.
No, he's great.
I could just see her face, dude. I just didn't want to see her face.
He's also hysterical. He's a great character in Django Unchained. Like
he's a great character here, and I'm never upset when they have the extra scenes with him and Charles. Like, I'm not upset by his extra scenes. And like, I'm like, oh, Sir's back in the mix. Like, what's Sir up to? I'm enjoying it when Sir's in the mix. I just didn't want to see his face.
That's fair. All right, people, do you agree with us? Do you disagree with us? Let us know in the comment section below. I hope you're enjoying the Series of Unfortunate Events. We have one more episode of Series of Unfortunate Events till we're done with this season, and then we're going to move on to a couple one-shots. We will announce the next one-shot in our next episode. Stay tuned. We'll see you next week. Bye now.
Bye. Thank you so much for listening to this episode of Flip the Scripts. Flip the Scripts is created, hosted, and produced by Ankit Madhira and Stephen Nieman. Our editor is Servellon. The art is by Kshitija Madhira, and the music is by Sebastian Hollich. If you would like to support the show, you can do so by heading over to patreon.com/co-op forge. So that's patreon.com/co_opforge. Sign up for any of the tiers and you get access to various types of bonus content. And it really does help us out a lot of not being in the red while making these episodes for you all. If you want to help out the show in a non-monetary way, that is great as well. You can talk about us on social media. Follow us on social media at co-op forge, co_opforge on all the various social media platforms. And you can also follow the show directly, Flip the Scripts Pod on Instagram. Be sure to talk about us on social media. It helps us out a lot. Thank you to anyone who has done this already or will do this in the future. And last but not least, if you still want to help out the show, word of mouth is a great way to help support the show and grow the show. Tell a friend, tell a family member about the show. There are two guys and they read books and then they go in, they watch the movie, they watch the TV show, they figure out, is it a faithful adaptation or is it just a fun movie but maybe not a faithful adaptation? That's also a possibility. If it's a show that you think they might enjoy, please do recommend it to them. It helps us out a lot. But we are just really thankful that you have tuned in for this episode of Flip the Scripts, and we hope you join us next week for even more tomfoolery. And until then, we'll see y'all later. Bye.